us with all these people with no protection. At least I got a phone and a radio and some shattered glass that will just shatter, but at least I'm in a booth. Their backs are to these people. That is terrifying. I stand with my brothers and sisters, 1555 and 192, and things are going to change. Things are going to change. Mark my word.
Eli's a 33-year operator, he's a transit operator. Much of the talk these days is about saving so-called middle-class jobs, about providing for families, about family values. But the actions of this board and the people they represent say just the opposite. In 2010, you took 10 to 15% of our wages and benefits. Now, you are turning back the clock by demanding part-time jobs and making them pay 6.75% of their low wages toward pensions. You're destroying good jobs. You're not creating them. When you cut pensions, multiply as much as 35%, and the overall pensions as much as 50%, you're destroying the lives of retirees. You're not creating anything. So who do you really work for? When you raise the fares 3 times faster than workers' wages while cutting service, you're not serving the public, but I think you're really serving somebody else. What you're serving are the politicians, the oil companies, and the banks that are taking over half of the federal budget for war. And they just said they want $30 billion more to fight workers from other countries rather than going after the bankers that have ripped off this economy. You're fronting for CEOs like William Hemsley of United Health, who has a $1.7 billion pension plan. These are you're fronting for. Well, we got something else. We, ATU 192, 1555, and SEIU 1021, we're the ones that do the work. And we got one thing for you, and it's an old saying: shut it down, shut it tight. The bosses can't profit when the workers unite.
I'm a youth there for 25 years. I've been here 30 years in the Bay Area. It's time to change the fair transit system. They do a good job, but they need communication between companies like East Bay Fair Transit, County Connections, and Wheels of Hunter County. You guys have to change the system. I've written a letter, 2-page letter, and you all read it. And when somebody needs a ride to go to Orinda or Pleasant Hill, it shouldn't be 3 hours for a ride. It doesn't make sense. I get up at 9:30 in the morning and get there at noon. Wow. No. There has to be a change. The letter was made, and you can contact me, my phone number, and email. Thank you.
I'm an Oakland resident, and I've been riding AC Transit since Jesus left Chicago. And it's the first time I've seen some of you wake up. When you just talk. I've seen smirks, the I don't care attitude. It's really disgraceful. I grew up in Harlem and East Harlem. There were a lot of Sicilians there. And I wasn't an altar boy, thank God. Otherwise, I'd probably be a board of director. But anyway, you say, lavorare, pugnare, parati sumos. We're here to work. We're here to fight. Either one. We're ready for it. That's right. But I do want to ask a question. to sleep at night when you treat people like dirt. And especially, some of you come from a background which is probably similar to mine, where there's been a history of oppression and degradation, and you sit here and work for people to do that. So you're wrong. And I'm talking about your sex, your race, everything. It's disgraceful. This is the first time I've seen Mr. People smile. He was asleep most of the time. We're human beings. That's why I'm making it personal. Because we're human beings just like you. We have families just like you. We have the same needs just like you. I let them use our toilets. When I see them waiting online to use a public toilet, be quiet. I think it's really disgraceful that they have to do that. And I hope that you really think about your morals. And think about your souls. Think about that when you go to sleep tonight.
You're just stupid because you don't know who the hell the public is. You look at the public position right now, we're in the largest number of people who rely on public transit in the last 50 years. And we're seeing the highest number of cuts, route reductions, and fare increases that we've ever seen. We have cuts to services, which means you have older people, workers who get off late at night who can't get a ride home. Like we just heard from this gentleman how long it takes. That's not the interest of the public. The distance we have to walk to get to our bus stops is getting longer. The pressure for the drivers to keep up and collect the full fare when people are making lower wages and the fares keep going up, that's not in the interest of the public. I mean, look at the situation for the drivers and the workers for AC Transit. It's no different. The last contract you had concessions, wage freezes. You're talking about cuts to their pension. You want to rip families apart. That's not in the interest of the public. You have workers who don't even have time to take a break. You got schedules that are switched around all the time. You're not even allowed to drink water. As we heard, you can't even go to the bathroom. The idea that this gentleman made is a joke that you're a robot. Well, in fact, that's exactly what you want from people. And I think that if you even call this a negotiation, it's a joke. What this is a race to the bottom. What you want is people that we're out here, you want us to be down here and lower, and we live in California, the richest state in this country. There's more than enough money to pay for public transit. I don't think we should call this a negotiation. This is an attack on our lives, and it's a declaration of war, and we're ready to fight to defend it. Thank you.
And timely experience. I have used the East Bay Paratransit for the past 25 years in Berkeley and El Cerrito, and it has helped me in getting to destinations that I would not have been able to access. But there are certain issues that need to be addressed. One, the pickup times need to be re-examined. For example, the current East Bay Paratransit pickup window. East Bay Paratransit has 20 to 30 minute window. The client has no idea when the van will arrive, and he or she has to wait until the van arrives. Yet Paratransit will not wait for the client if the client is 5 or 10 minutes late. Question, why do they have that large of an arrival window if they are not going to wait for the client? There should be a system to inform the client when the van will arrive at the destination within a 10-minute window. 2, this problem compounds itself when you schedule regional trips. That is a trip when a trip crosses, I think it meant to say county border lines. I have taken regional trips from El Cerrito to Pleasant Hill many times with this reoccurring issue over the past 2 years. It has taken from 1 hour and 45 minutes to almost 2.5 hours to connect between transit companies. The connecting point is the BART station. This should not happen when the trip is planned at least a week in advance. The connecting time should be short. The time wasted transferring from one company to another, like East Bay Paratransit, to the North Bay's county connection should be lower because of the pre-planning. Communication between the two companies should be paramount and easy with the current radio system. Each company has its own dispatch system and they should be in constant contact with each other. East Bay Paratransit should use their radio system to inform the client and the connecting company when they are arriving to their destination. The same East Bay paratransit 20 to 30 minute window should apply to regional trip as to regular East Bay pickups. This is not happening. I would be willing to give advice on how to improve the regional transport system if I could have the email or business address of the personnel to address the existing problem. Paratransit has improved from the early 1980s, but it still must strive to be the best transit system in the United States because the Bay Area is the home of the largest disabled community in America. Sincerely, Gary Brady. Gary.